All right, we are live. Yeah, I think the VOD from the last stream last week will be going up tomorrow, which will be Wednesday the 2nd. Got it scheduled for that. I forgot to get it up over the weekend. I thought I was going to have a lot more time to do stuff like that because I didn't think I'd be able to do much with regards to the playtest because I was in a hotel room on my crappy old laptop. But Swanee introduced me to the wonderful world of Parsec. So I was able to basically just remote into my PC and was able to help with a few petitions and do some other stuff. So got preoccupied. Hey, Matthias. Hey, Othrind. My friend Justin Beard. Dadvik. Chad Solo. Ooh, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Not this. Why is that window? Did I close that window? Okay. I didn't move it over here. Huh. Hey, what's up? Was that Quitch? What's up, Orcish? Orcish said, dude, last playtest so awesome, so many memories. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, it seemed like a really good time this time around. Things relatively stable. The instability that did exist, we've got, sounds like we've got a pretty good handle on. Some of it we had a handle on before we went into it. Other things, by handle, I mean, we knew kind of going into it, there were maybe a couple problems that we hadn't had a chance to fix yet. But then we learned some new stuff, it sounds like. So we should be good shape for the end of the month. Hey, quick sound. Trip was good. We took a 5.5 hour train ride down to Munich. I sat in a hotel room hanging out with you guys the whole weekend for the most part, and then we took a train ride back. Jasmine was there because she had like some she's an oral surgeon. She was learning some new techniques from a seminar there. Thanks for the follow, Othrind. What's up in Crypt? Etris, glad you had a good time. Red 6, what's up? Yeah, cool. All right. Hopefully you get your days off for the next test. The Chronic, hello. Zare. Buckhold, Zenfar. Chesol, I think I said hi to you already, but I'll say it again. Okay, so something's changed in my editor. So let me get reset back up, I guess. Pull that over here, thank you. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, I'm glad you feel extra welcomed then. There's nothing wrong with being extra welcomed. Add tab, hierarchy. I really need to get another monitor. I need to get another machine. I need to get another monitor. You're finally able to get it downloaded, the launcher. Yeah, it's good. I remember you were struggling. We'll get the launcher stuff figured out. Don't you worry. It sounds like we've got new launcher sort of on deck. There's just some stuff for us to figure out or finalize or something. Hey, John. Already fiending for the next test. Too much fun. Hey, that's a good spot for us to be in then. Alright, let me find scenes. Cool. Let me find maps. Yep. Let me find the zone. Let's go ahead and check out. Let's check out Glass Flats. So let me let the team know I'm taking Glass Flats in our little channel. There's a program you can use to use your laptop with a keyboard and mouse of that computer if you want. Dude, the laptop I have is so absolute shitty. It's so not good. Yeah, these are new glasses. These are my computer glasses. So I have my computer glasses. And then I have my far-seeing glasses. How do they work with the computer? Not great. Okay. I'm glad I have two pair of glasses then. And then I have my old glasses, which kind of do both, but not very well. So that's where I'm at. That's the current state of my hardware. Gorf the Imp, thank you for the follow. Quicksana said was a fun poop sock weekend. Every test I have, even more fun. Quicksana, I don't know that how I feel about you saying poop sock. Other people, I think it's fine. You're gonna ruin my mental image. Hey, thanks, Gorf. Tip to bad influence says, oh yeah, you said you're the one fiending. Chronic, quick question for a new player. Any chance y'all can add more information in the quest text? I legit got stuck on the second part of the quest text, or road quest. Had to turn in 5 notes. No clue where to look for any of the NPCs. Aware this 100% skill issue. Did you ask the quest giver about where those NPCs might be? So, short answer to your question is, we'll always look and see if we need to add some more text or clarification or clarifying terms or whatever. That said, I mean, you can't do a perfect job. Like, so I was sneaking in a little bit of Turtle WoW, because I think I was watching like a Mad Season video about Classic Plus, and I was like, why have I not played Turtle WoW yet? So I snuck in a couple hours of Turtle WoW, like yesterday or day before. Yesterday, I think. And dude, their quests cannot be any easier in WoW. I still look up stuff on Wowhead, right? I mean, like, WoW is really good about telling you what you need to know. I still have to look shit up. So it's one of those things where at some point we kind of feel like there's a little value in maybe just asking an OOC. It builds community, you know, check the wiki. I've always stated that I feel that wikis are they're key parts of a community, right? They are a key part of like the overall community. And I always loved like looking at Alakazam or some shit, you know, Caster's Realm, but mainly like Ala, and you see where somebody will like comment on something, right? The comments on a quest or an item or an NPC, and people be like, you know, or the little discovered by or whatever, like all that stuff, that's community outside the game. Iron Imrock, make sure that's the right Discord. I can't remember if that still takes you to my like old Loving Robot Discord. Click on the link I just gave you. Oh man, this monster is maybe not going to be my friend tonight. Excuse me. Hey, AutoKey. Perez Dispenser said had an amazing time in a playtest, joined 2 different groups, and went to a hidden camp in Night Harbor and in Shaded Dunes. Would have never found otherwise. I love that kind of exploration in MMO like this. Oh man, sounds fun. I'm glad you got in some groups. I'm glad you saw some stuff that you wouldn't otherwise see. Again, this was one of those things that I've noticed going back and playing some WoW. Like, I would find nooks and crannies and shit, and there's just nothing there. It's a beautiful game. It's a great game. But it, you know, that was one of the things that struck me when I first started playing WoW. Was like, oh, there's so many like little areas where you're like, oh, I wonder if this leads to somewhere. Not really. Cornbread, hey, what's going on? Been a while. Said, been a while since checking in on progress. Hope development is going well. Excited to play again. Currently working on my own game at the moment. Fantastic. There should be some VODs out. We just had a long playtest last weekend, and it was a bigger one, so So hopefully you could check out some content and kind of see how things have come along. I'll make sure to ask the NPC about the location. Was not aware that was a thing. Never played EQ1. Yeah, well, I mean, even in EQ1, it wasn't necessarily a given. We're taking a simple system like a keyword trigger system and seeing what we can do with it. So. Yazin said, had a blast in test. You guys are doing a great job. Hey, thank you. Liz said, I want to shout out to all the trivia guys because we rocked. 99.9% of the people were nice, happy, and everything we could want. Yeah, I mean, we always, especially when we get like random streamers and stuff to come check out the game, we run into that like, day one sort of people that probably wouldn't ordinarily check us out, pop in, and then they're a little unhappy or unfriendly. But the next 2 days were super, super. Has it been stated if each race will have their own city? Yes. That is what we're going to be doing during early access. That is part of the goal of early access, is to push to 1.0 to try to get the rest of the zones in place for you. Kronk said, I do have to say, as a classic WoW player, even though I got lost a bunch, it felt refreshing. Y'all have something great here. Keep up fantastic work. Hey, thank you. That is always nice to hear. Excuse me. One thorn that stood out to me during the test were vendor windows staying open even when I ran away from them, Etris said. That is a encrypt thing. If he's still listening. How long will early access be? 2-3 years or longer? Not longer than that, no. Hoping early access. I mean, really, it's going to come down to how many people are subscribed. To be completely honest with you, if we've got like, if you read the people's comments in Discord or Reddit or wherever, where they're like, the problem with these classic games is they go too hardcore and then they only ever have a player base of 40 people. So if we only have 40 subs, it may take us a little bit longer to get the game done. If we've got 1,000 subs, it'll go a bit quicker. If we have 5,000 subs, it'll go 5 times faster than 1,000. There is a point of diminishing returns, but essentially the more subs we have, the more cash we have on hand to both convert some of our folks to full-time and have, be able to comp some of the other folks for their time part-time, but it gives us outsourcing money. And then we'll shift our pipelines to basically working with the outsourcing team, getting those assets made, getting those incorporated into the game and touched up to look the way we want. And a lot of the burden will then be put back onto the design to just like keep hammering in content and stuff. So hopefully, hopefully it's one of those things where we have enough subs and we're stable enough that we're able to get stuff in and get it knocked out. And, I would say it's fair to say a couple years. Would we want to try to beat that? For sure. But let's just say a couple years. We have no idea at the moment. It just depends on what scenario winds up happening. Hope the game stays dark. Who said that? Just let me play the damn game. So here's the thing. We want it to be dark enough to kind of have some impact, but still bright enough so that it feels realistic in that you've got stars and moons and stuff illuminating outside. We want it to be pretty. Now, when you go under a tree and there's no moons out or whatever, it's going to get darker. If you go into a cave, it's going to get darker, right? So there will be dark spots, but we're not looking to have it just be pitch ass black all the time. The problem is different people have different monitors, and we cannot establish one setting that works for everybody. So we are going to experiment with putting in a brightness slider that will show you how dark we think the game should be. You can adjust it. You can cheat if you want. Okay. But if you want the experience, you will adjust it properly or cheat a little bit, and then you'll be good to go. But we've just got different hardware configs out there, and we've seen people have posted screenshots of like, you know, side-by-side it happens on my two monitors, side-by-side monitors, and one it's like relatively bright at night, and the other one it's like can't see anything, pitch black. So then, you know, things like torches and stuff, when it's set to the proper setting, and probably even if you cheat a bit, will still have an impact. They do more than just illuminate the direct radius. They manipulate like the, I think the, oh crap, what's it called? Camera term. They manipulate the, what is the name of the term? The amount of light that you allow in this thing. Oh, fuck, what's the term? How am I forgetting this? Aperture. Thank you. Oh man, I felt like I was gonna have to give back my book, my book on the book Understanding Exposure. If you've ever like wanted to take photos, fantastic book, Understanding Exposure. Anyways, the aperture, which manipulates the exposure, then so like lighting a torch doesn't just illuminate around you. What we're working on is making it so that when you light a torch or a lantern, it illuminates around you, and it also changes the kind of like overall brightness a bit. Like we've put work into really trying to make the lighting good, but people aren't full of shit when they say the game's pitch black and it looks horrible. Yeah, on their monitor, that's probably the case. That is not the intent. So then it leads to like 300-400 comment posts on Discord about like, oh man, or FOH forum, where someone's like, based on the comments that Sean makes on Discord and Reddit, it's probably intentional because he's a big old meanie. Like, really? I thought I was a nice guy. But I will respond if you call us lazy and blah blah blah. I will respond. I'll call you out. I mean, it's only fair, yes. Let's see. Rogar Seb, not sure if it was anywhere near where you were, but did you happen to catch the Sword at Freak Valley Festival on 6/21? They live streamed a concert. It caught some of it. I saw they were playing in Germany. I have not even heard of that. Will deep races make a NPC mob appearance before become playable? They might. That is actually a decent question. They might. You may see them in some zones. Hey, Dwiver, and you're welcome. Glad you liked it, Cuff. LeFusto. Game intended for OLED monitors. Yeah, I mean... And the funny thing was, like, when we first realized the difference, we thought people were, like... we were just kind of like, huh? No, that's not what the game looks like at all. You know, we were kind of baffled for a second, and then First or somebody was like, dude, it looks completely different. Depending on the monitor, and we're like, oh shit, that's no good. Let me what did I just do? So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be catching. Did that just bring? Okay, I was like, did that just bring the collision? No, it didn't. What I'm going to be doing in the background, is I'm going to be working on some goblin camps out here to get you guys some more content in this particular level range, because right now I just threw in some wandering goblins a while back, but we've got these mugger goblins up here. So these guys, the scavengers, will be down here in some camps. I'll do that in the background while we catch up on things. R. Richards said, are you happy with the state of Spellblade? I'll be honest with you. I'm not the one doing class design and like class implementation and stuff like that, and I haven't played a Spellblade, so I don't know. I have no opinion on a Spellblade at the moment. I know that Nick is working on that stuff. You can catch him in Discord, and Nick and Ali and crap, now I'm spacing on his like, and I don't want to dox him. I was like gonna say his real name. Runaf, those guys are looking at like the combat formulas and classes and all that other stuff. I am making goblin camps. And then, you know, I keep an eye on the conversations and chime in if I feel like I've got an interesting question or something of value to add, but we're fairly distributed in how we work. We're not like super hierarchical or whatever, and like you will not see a big list of meetings on our calendars. Meetings for approvals. Drac, thank you for the follow. Leatherface, thank you for the follow. Gorf, if I didn't say thank you already, thank you for the follow. Hey, Florine. How many zones do we plan for 1.0? Hey, check this out. Oh, 1.0? I'm not going to tell you. I will say, if you look at how many we're going to release for early access and probably the first like M1, I would say those combined probably represent like 20% of the game world. And just keep in mind that if we have more capability, we'll actually add more zones. We have a bigger world map than we currently are shooting for. We've had to reduce scope for 1.0 to kind of be realistic with what we think our capabilities are. Charp99, you're welcome. Is there currently anything that gives information what the stats do? People ask that. So far, I think the approach has been that we are leaving it a bit of a mystery for now and letting people kind of theory craft. I will say that there is a Confluence page, an internal page that breaks that down really well. But we haven't released that info, and I believe I'm not speaking out of turn if I say that we're also looking at it and making adjustments to some of that as we go. So with regards to physical memorabilia, that's on our list of like, if we do well enough to be able to do that, we would love to be able to do that for you guys. That kind of goes back into the whole, do we have 50 subs or do we have, 50,000? And at what point? Okay, so why does it show 2 prefabs? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I'm probably just breaking stuff in Unity. We'll leave this here. But like, why is that shown there? Okay, I see. All right, now it's by itself. The zones are so big and are so good. I had so much fun. I said this in Discord earlier. Me and my group of friends are in our Discord acting like teenagers that lost our puppy waiting for the next playtest. Hey, that is so fun to hear. It's very encouraging. Trump said, I think Discord's grown by about 1,000 members in a week. These tests are accomplishing the goal, I think. And though the in-game numbers didn't pop as high as they could, I think a lot of people are hanging in the sidelines. We were pretty happy with like keeping it about just over 1,000 concurrent during prime time for both nights. That's not bad. We'll have to look. We're pulling stats. I think we had something like 5,600 people play over the weekend. So your peak, I mean, one of the things when people are looking at like Steam numbers and judging a game, they're always looking at that peak number as if that is the total number of people that played that day. In my experience, when you see like 1,000 people played sort of peak or 10,000 or whatever. A lot of the games I've worked on in the past, you can take that peak number and multiply it by like 4. And you know, that'll give you like a daily active user count. And then you could multiply it by like 4 again, and then that gives you a monthly active user. That doesn't always hold up. Sometimes it's a much smaller sort of, you know, multiple. Sometimes it's much higher. It really depends on how long people stay logged in. So the more people log in, play for 30 minutes, log back out, come the next day. It's very sort of session length dependent. But we have people like I think our average, let me look. I think we already know like our average, let me see. I think Swanee was already looking at some of these. Excuse me. Over 40% of the people that played stayed playing for more than 5 hours. So that's pretty good stickiness. Richa Rhonda, thank you for the follow. Mr. Cow said, I personally haven't logged in for a few tests. This summertime is very busy for me. Yeah, and I noticed there's a number of like faces that I'm hoping we eventually see again that have been in play tests. They've made content. They've done all sorts of stuff in the past. And they just, you know, they're not necessarily in every play test. So I'm hoping we see them again. Uh, 56. I think last play test we had like 44, 4,500. So it's, I mean, it's kind of, and then the question really becomes, not just like, is something, oops, what's going on here? I may be better off just like grabbing these things and putting them in fresh. Acting wonky. And all of this is kind of janked up here because this is actually on the other side of the zone. I've fixed all of this in Sungreet Strand. So there's no point in like fixing it here as well. So it just looks a little janky up here, but that's just because it's just kind of a facade piece. You'll look and see, oh, it's up there. It doesn't matter if it's like perfect. Yeah, I don't know why the little gizmo is down here now. All right, this is stupid. Let me try something else. I'll hop out of here, just reset it. Tried to blindly find my way to Evershade from Night Harbor at level 1. Made it through Vale of Zintar and Glass Flats. I ironically drowned in shallow shoals. How did that happen? Be nice if down there you could see the tints at the top of the map. You can. So when you're in Glass Flats, you can look up and see the stuff up there. And then when you're here, you know what I may do is once I get the camp set up, I'll set the camps up here in Glass Flats, and I'll copy them into Sungreed Strand. And since you can see down there, I might even put some little mobs down there running around. And then when you hit this, you'll zone in, and you'll realize all the camps are actually taken. Alright, so let's try this again and see what happens. Any idea when Evershade / Phalandraw will be complete enough to support a populace? I would have to look on the schedule. It's definitely got a couple more months. Again, this is one of those challenges. It's like, without cash, then the individual that's working on the zone has a full-time day job. You know, if we have cash, then in theory, it may be the case that we could get more or all of his time. So that's kind of that question going back to like how long until 1.0. Alright, so if I do Control D, now I've got a duplicate. Great. Why is that gizmo over there though? Like, is this just some obvious like Unity shit that I just don't like? It's not moving or anything either. This just seems like maybe Unity is kind of wonked out on me. Hey, Yusan, what's up? See how it's just not moving? So what I'm gonna do, I can't do a / reload. By reload, you mean dump it and come back in, right, Chinny? And also, hello, Chinny. Kill the editor. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's where I was heading. Constantine AOC, thank you for the follow. Rixie, thanks for the follow. You can force recompile and change layout and back sometimes to see if it helps. That sounds like it's more work than just like restarting the editor, Liz. Also, that sounds fancy. Romero says, hey Robot, I was linked here from the Discord. I was part of the last playtest. Thank you for this great blast from the past game. My question is, so far playtest servers are US. Is there any plan for EU server for us Europores? We've had a formal EU server in the past, at least once. And believe it or not, I'm fairly certain all of our servers were in Europe this time. That's why the people in Australia were actually having some issues with ping. So if we have enough people to support a Euro server, then we'll do a Euro server. If we don't, then we won't, just because it would suck for you to be on an empty server. And we're not super ping dependent. And in theory, if we have an East Coast server, it shouldn't be bad. I'll be playing on it. I mean, I'm in Germany. This is like, I'd be happy on an empty server. Okay, well, we'll work out a plan. We'll work out a payment plan, Liz. I mean, the servers aren't horribly expensive. We just don't want people having an empty server. You're gonna hold me to that? Listen, one of the good things about us having our own company is when we talk shit, we can follow through sometimes. Rixie said, loving the game. The playtest was a blast. Hey, thank you and welcome. Empty servers, forced solo self-found. Well, I mean, it won't be solo. It'd be me and Liz running around. We'll call it the Liz and Robot needs their quiet server. I think considering how many people was in the starter zone, 5 people, server worked really well. Grimday, that is not to brag on the guys or anything, but yeah. I tell you what, next time there's a new MMO launch, hop in and see what the performance is like in the first couple of days if they've got over 300 people in. I think the guys have done a fantastic job with the server. I'm very impressed. And I mean, if we needed to, like, think about it like this, if we needed to, with 500 people in the zone and it running running smooth, if it like started to get wonky or wobbly at like 600, in theory we could split Night Harbor into 2 zones, and Night Harbor would support 1,200 people. That's now content-wise, they may not support 1,200 people. So our big challenge now is content, not tech. Excuse me. The whole like that crash you saw on Rel, we know what it was, and it's a kind of a silly, interesting crash. Yeah, Ali has fought against splitting Night Harbor the whole time. I think it's just a point of pride, and I'm cool with that. Will High Elves be out with the next playtest in July or saved for launch? They'll be saved for launch. They'll be coming online during early access. Yeah, don't worry. We have no plans to split Night Harbor at this point. If you guys end up with getting an office, please have the HR department include cat wallpaper. Yeah, I don't think either of those things are going to happen. We're not going to get an office, and we're not going to get HR. That would screw up our bad boy attitude or whatever. What else do we need? We got a banner, we got a tent. I guess we can take some spikes and crates down there as well, right? Barrel. We want to get we actually want like one of, so Runaf has like a farm with goats and donkeys and stuff, and we're thinking about having one of the goats be HR. Human resources, like cooked meat. I have plenty of that. Caca rotting. I bet you do with that name. You've got a very scary internet name. But thank you for the follow. I'm gonna have to call you either rotting or caca from now on. Those two together is too much. Great empty parents. We're gonna call this Kakarot, not rotting. Kakarot plus rotting, not the poop name. So what do I call you? Kaka? Or Goku is Kakarot. It's a Dragon Ball Z reference? Dude, do I look like a Dragon Ball Z person? Call him Dan? No. Dan? Really? Is that... No. Are you trying to get me to say something bad? I could have sworn like GAN, G-A-N, was like the F word in in like, I don't know, Taiwan, Korea, somewhere. Dan is my character name. Okay, he's just Dan in game. All right, Dan. Yeah, sorry, I'm not a. I'm pretty lame. I don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z. One of these days, I may watch some Dragon Ball Z, but I've seen people dress like Dragon Ball Z characters at Comic-Con and stuff. I understand that it is a cultural phenomenon. Just because I have a Akira tattoo on my back doesn't mean I actually know anything about the Japanese cartoons. All right, let's see. Attack on Titan is on my list of stuff that I'd be curious to watch. My old office mate, our editor on DC Universe online, Dana, she used to work for DC in New York, and she also helped them, like, I don't know, like set up a deal with when they were buying like some manga company or something like that. And so she showed me some of like the weird, like, is it manga, is it manga? Anyway, she showed me some of the weird ass Japanese comics. One was like some serial killer that was like keeping people alive in like vats and growing flowers out of their brains and stuff. And I was just like, all right, well, that's something. That's a thing. Top Speed Bean said this weekend was fantastic. Thanks, the NWC crew. Hey, I'm glad you enjoyed it. We are all very, very happy that you guys had a good time. Sounds like a Junji Ito comic. Is that an author or artist or like a style? The Kron says, I have an M&M size hole in my life now. It's not going to be too much longer. Don't worry. Time is going to fly very, very fast, unfortunately. But also fortunately. Or a manga. Have you heard of Uzumaki? No, I haven't. I won't know any names. The limits of my understanding. He's like the H.P. Lovecraft of manga. Well, that sounds interesting, though. Sika, thank you for the follow. You want a zone list? Gorf? The dragon that you guys got killed by is not really a dragon as much as he's just kind of a big drake. There's bigger dragons. Where are we? Glass flats. Stone spawners. Right now said, enjoyed watching the streams this weekend. M&M's looking great. We'll certainly be giving it a blast on release. Nice. Yeah, it seems like a number of people are waiting for us to go into early access, so I think that's fair. Rename this parent object Goblin Scavenger Camps. Do my best to be a good art citizen. Oh, the server ending dragon at the end? Oh, yeah, I wasn't aware of any of that stuff. That wasn't like anything crazy pre-planned or anything like that. There's 7 books for now, Bill. And howdy. Sorry guys, I'm over here moving some stuff around, some files around, so I'm having to concentrate and not read what you guys are saying. Okay, there it is. Trying to... Finally, okay. Goblin Scavenger Camp. I'm going to move that. And then I'm going to set as default parent. Okay, now we're back in business. Dude, I can read chat so much easier now with my new glasses. I'm not sure if this was answered. Let me see. Is the intention to wipe all characters once EA starts? Once live, not at all. All of these test characters will be wiped when we go into EA. We've talked about maintaining these characters on like a test realm, a test server. But yeah, EA kicks off an official, these are your characters, and then there are no plans to wipe after that as we work towards 1.0. At different intervals, we may bring up a new server that's essentially got all of the content up to that point, but it's a fresh start. Excuse me. Goodness. Hey, Wallabus. I think, Wallabus, did you start the thread of images in Discord, or was it the thread of best memories? Either way, thanks for that. Would EA launch have players spread out in the Wood Elf Forest, City, and Night Harbor? Yeah. And then we're pushing to within a few months of going into early access. We've already started on the zones, but our hope is to release another like 6 zones that are themed, that are all deep themed, that they travel from like Night Harbor under the world to where the Deep Elf City is. And there will be one additional overland zone, which will be Fields of the Lost, which connects to Scarwood. Scarwood is the zone that we've been working on together in the various streams. You can check the VODs out. Oops, wait, wrong VODs. These VODs. So I'm not working on that today with you guys, just because I figure we'd be chatting a bunch, and I need to actually start getting some new camps in here. We've got some guys here. We're gonna set up a few camps around for these goblins. All right, now everything's set up. I think we can just kind of get busy with them. I don't know why I'm seeing... Let me get an inspector here. Like, why am I seeing the collision mesh or whatever that is? Inspector. Chinny, why am I seeing that green stuff? Is it because I got this on? It is because I have that on, I think. Okay, cool. That is the level of sophistication when I'm thinking about the game. Why is this thing doing that? What is this stuff? I'm confused. Thieving little goblins. Dude, that video of Cindy the Goblin. Oh my god, had me in tears. Oh. Let me find that link really quick. Dude, I gotta play this for you guys. Holy crap. Let me find it in our Slack. Where was it? Random, maybe? Yes. Oh my gosh. Bring this up. Hit pause. Switch account.
I checked that note and it's
Hey, Sanguine. Sanguine. Let's see. I think I can just turn this up.
I checked that note.
It's worth me adjusting all my settings. Am I not subscribed? Oh, not on the M&M one. I was on my other one. Okay.
I checked that note and it said to go meet somebody at the park. I thank God for these. These signs are so cute. There's no map in this game, by the way. So the goblin, I love that her name's Cindy. Oh, she gave me a speed buff, I think. Yeah, the speed buff. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Cindy. Cindy the goblin. I checked that note and it said to go meet somebody at the park. I thank God for these. These signs are so cute. There's no map in this game, by the way. So the goblin, I love that her name's Cindy. Oh, she gave me a speed buff, I think. Yeah, the speed buff. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Cindy. Cindy the goblin.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So between that in like NDP and just so those are the moments where it's like dealing with certain nonsense is all worthwhile. Those little moments. Constantine, it is intentional at the moment that we don't have that information out. We will see how long we maintain that approach, but we're letting people just kind of like theory craft and stuff for now, while we hammer out formulas and play with stuff and lock it down. One of these days, we may provide that info, but we also may not. They're goblins, so yeah. So they're not going to be super organized. Put a little space here betwixt. Kind of got folks here. Okay, we don't have spawners really set up at the moment, so I'll basically be starting from scratch with spawners for all these. Where would these little weirdos put their spikes? Would they even have these down here? Maybe they got. Well, you know what? They're gonna have a little blockade here. This is a clever blockade. Silly gooses. What? That was not intended. Oh. How's the chat? I think they're doing good. How are you guys doing aside from not being able to play right now? Hey, Sna. Sna. Hey, when we're done here today, we're going to raid Quatos because it's his birthday. So just an advance warning. Goblins is very clever. They would blockade the choke point, but no one comes through here ever. The road's down here. Somewhere. There it is. But they're making sure that they can't get snuck up on. Obviously. I noticed you can't gate when overburdened. Will players be able to be ported by a druid or wizard if they are encumbered? I don't believe so. Listen, we goblins don't think that far ahead. I know. Well, unless you're one of Chinny's goblins. Hey, Fade. What's going on? Fade Wimp said they kind of give you an idea of what your class needs by adding extra point to those stats, then stamina rarely fails you. Hey, that is very clever. Obviously not a goblin. Or are you? Drex said, better now, getting my fix watching you. Yeah, we'll be around. Sneers, how am I? I'm good. I was very sleepy today, though. You know Cindy is one of my goblins? No, Cindy is not one of your goblins. Cindy is in a different guild than you. Cindy is in Mind Goblins, not only goblins. Is this a Sean stream or NWC stream? Today it's going to be this is business. I am not cursing at people. I'm not talking any shit. I'm watching my language mostly. What do you mean, sure? What do you mean? So boring. Yes, defense. Oh, hey, Dargith. What's going on? Pfft. Great, Dargith's here. You can't spell Cindy without Chinny D. You have no idea how spot on you are with that. Is it a 70-80% more official stream? It's mostly sort of halfway official. Dargit said for the first time in like 4 playtests I was finally free for this one. Played so much. Nice. What did you think? Just a worst ever quest. Hey, Billy Burkhart. Just Beard said, I take medication. It helps me with my bad language. I didn't think it would work, but I was pleasantly surprised. Interesting. The team may wind up buying me some of that for once we're in early access. Will there be low ceiling claustrophobic dungeons? Yep. Dude, we have an entire dungeon made. We have 2 entire dungeon made that you guys have not seen. I don't know if you will see them. That's a good. I would have got to follow up with Chinny and Simon and see if they want to feature one screenshot from their dungeon you've never seen. The skeleton dungeon is one of the best dungeons I've seen in an MMO in a long time. Oh, that's tight. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you enjoy the dungeon. These guys need like an empty box or something. They need some empties here. What? Of course I didn't want to do that. Just when you thought you saw everything, there was more. There may actually be more that you haven't seen and can't see yet, but then later you may see. Kumadar says, I wonder what that tower in the distance is all about. I don't know. If only someone would finish it. Speaking of, we should discuss the remainder of the tower. Thank you, Dargus. Since that is a new take, Dargus, I will add that to the list of feedback. Every time I hear something about dark, it makes me think of DMX. Let me... How many biomes will be at the start of early access? One that you probably won't see because you won't be high enough level. Deserts, temperate. So like 2 biomes, but don't worry, there'll be plenty more later. Yeah, I think of the DMX album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Whenever I hear complaints about darkness in our game. I know, odd. Is blind intended to still show your UI when blinded? Yeah. And in theory, there would be like a fade in and fade out. In super theory, one day I might see if like Chip and Nick would be willing to add different degrees of blind. So there's like a partial blindness, right? Like a weaker blind where you can kind of still see through. And it kind of... what was I doing here? Oh, I was looking at the fact that Action Park. I'm a big fan of water parks. That one looked fun. What are your goals for weather? Just random rain by zone? What do you mean? We have a few, like we've got sandstorms, we got thunderstorms. I've been thinking about weather and like maybe some more parameters that help us kind of control duration stuff a little bit easier. It would be nice. We were just talking about like a rainless thunderstorm would be good. Snowstorm, ashfall. Yeah, just all sorts of stuff over time. We'll add them in. Pocket sand level blindness. Yep. Witzer said, the darkness made me think, oh hell, the first time my candle burned out. Just made you respect night and be prepared. So I went and chopped wood and carried torch supplies anytime I left town. Nice. We'll have a brainstorm, some cool weather for the deep. Oh, for sure. Spore falls, drippy drips, weird like deep auroras. Will there be seasons to the year and moon phases? Moon phases are already in. And they're even being used by certain content. There'll be certain things you may not be exposed to unless moons are in certain phases. There may be things or I'll just say there will be things that you will not see or find or be able to fish up or whatever unless the moons are in the right phase. Kumidar, we were just talking about that actually specifically with something he's working on, so that's another one of those. Seasons of the year are in data, but they're not really reflected, except season of the year will currently affects weather patterns. So there may be things you wish you hadn't seen. Yeah. Things you wouldn't understand, couldn't understand, shouldn't understand. Dottie. Fade Wims, thank you for the follow. I keep just getting distracted, and when I restarted the editor, it like got rid of my hierarchy and my other crap. Slime Rain from Terraria. Isn't there a slime rain in Stardew Valley as well? It causes all the moss to grow everywhere. Is like slime rain like a thing that people are into? That it's in both games? Tangent is rating with 404 people. Well, that's an awful lot of people. How are you doing? It's weird. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's weird that you're rating, because I was scrolling through who was streaming what before I hopped on here, and I saw you, and I was like, I'd just been mentioning you because we had a playtest, and I was just talking about you with some of the folks, and I was like, man, I hope he comes back to one of our current playtests, because it's been a while. I mean, not, you don't have to stream it or whatever, but like, just I want you to see it, like, because it's a lot more stable and all that stuff. So like, sneak in. You don't have to bring your crew or whatever. But hey, everybody that is here with Tangent, welcome. If you're not familiar with the game, we have a little indie MMO called Monsters and Memories that we've been working on for a little while now. We're getting close to our early access period. Like we're hoping to take this thing into early access in the first quarter of 2026. So we're kind of coming down to the wire. We just had a play test over the last weekend that was for the last 3 days. It was nice. We had about 5,000 and change people come through. That was pretty cool. And so it was pretty busy. We've been working on like server stability and stuff like that. So we had like Tangent, I don't know what it was like last time you were in, but we had 500 people in Night Harbor, and it was lag free. So that was pretty cool. Thank you for all the follows. If you're into old school games, then yeah, definitely check us out. Check out our Discord and our website. That's a great place to get information. And we post all of our VODs on YouTube. So if you want to just kind of like scroll through and kind of see what the game looks like or whatever, please definitely check it out. I just in here, we found that we have some level gaps in camps that are available, kind of low 20s during our like friends and family testing. We just moved into alpha. As people are progressing through it, we found there's some gaps, and so I'm just coming down, throwing some more Goblin Camps in for those guys. Let's see. Meltonian Eve. I'm going to mess it up. Chattakaram Heart. Nikolaus, RPG, DMCA, Rookshep, Dallas. Cowboy Star 28. Light Wolven. Run That Monkey. That's a great name. Super Hex. Thank you for the follows, guys. And Tangent said, thrilled to hear development is going well. Hey, thank you. I am really excited to get you back in here. I know the whole team will be happy to see your response to where we're at with stuff. And you can give us some feedback on the Enchanter and where things are at. If you need more FNF testers, hit me up. Sneaky Russian. I haven't seen you in Discord in a while, I think. Or was it in here? Haven't seen it in a while. Hop into Discord. Dargit said there are 300 plus in Night Harbor for me at one point, and it was playable, even though I play on a potato laptop. Not 60 FPS or anything, but totally playable. Yeah, we definitely have more. We have more client optimizations to go. We've been hitting a little bit of like client optimization along with like just the networking stuff, the server stuff. So. Do you expand friends and family? Yeah, we've expanded a little bit. Tangent said, so nice of you to say. It's definitely sad that this was the first test I'm not taking part of since discovering it. Can't wait to have some time to check stuff out and see firsthand how it's coming along. I know it'll be great though. Hey, thank you. And end of the month, we have a 5-day test coming up. So we have posted all of our test dates for this year. We've got those up in our Discord. Let's see. I have to go look it up so I don't misquote it because I'm like drawing a blank. Playtest info. Yeah, it's so... Where is it here? Playtest dates. So yeah, July playtest will be Wednesday, July 23rd through Sunday, July 27th, 5 days. September playtest will be 7 days. It'll be from September 1st through September 7th. November playtest will be November 1st through the 10th. So 10-day playtest. And you can find all of that in our M&M playtest info in our Discord. What's the playtest looking to accomplish at this stage? September 7th is your birthday. Nice. Then I think it's only fair that you gift yourself the gift of M&M. Mainly we're just wanting to get a lot of you in and kind of see what happens. You know, it's nice getting the feedback. We've had a steady slew of like feedback from our internal testers. Minor Illusion on September 7th would be a great gift. Yeah, I wonder if that's something we can hammer out. Let's see. I'm gonna make a note here. Just yeah. All right. Totally sneaking a note. Joking. No, it's. I mean, it's been on our list. I'm actually sitting here thinking, I'm like, do we not have it in yet? I've been so wrapped up in like content stuff that I honestly don't know where some of the classes are with regards to like abilities and stuff. 5566. Thank you for the follow. A steel image. I think we've talked about something similar to that in the past. Let's see. Where's the merch we promised you? Dude, we're so excited to get merch out. But we don't want to pull the trigger until we're either really close to like being in early access or once EA is live. We just don't want to take money too soon. Goonie Saint, thank you for the follow. Again, you guys keep your money until early access, and once early access hits, if you like what you see, then give us $15 a month, and you keep doing that for as long as you enjoy the game. And we're gonna show you, those of you that aren't familiar with the project, we've tried to be pretty open about everything. Like we, sit here and show, pretty much, we try not to spoil any lore, and there are areas and zones that you haven't seen that we won't show, but like we're in here just developing. If you're not familiar with Monsters and Memories, early access, I'll bring it up. Let's see, FAQ. So this is all of our like our early access FAQ, but like what we want to do when we go live is we've tried to be as open with you guys as possible, and we've got our roadmaps set up. We've got a little Trello board that's like a deconstruction of the game that we update as we go, so you can see like everything that we've wanted to get in and the state of it. Well, I guess if I'm logged in. Oh, well. Let me figure out. Did that Trello board actually go down? Am I just now discovering that? Or was it? Oh, it's just trying to advertise some shit to me. Okay. Cool. My board may look different than yours, but essentially we kind of deconstructed the game and show you, you know, everything we've been working on. We've had this up forever. But then one of the other things that we've done is like we tried to show you how we got to this point. Like, so we've got our development history broken down. You can see what we've added, who we've added over the years. Because a lot of times when people go, the game's been in development for X number of years, you don't realize like year one is basically like 3 of us and Bunny helped, but she's no longer here. You know, the next year is when we've finally had our artists and stuff. And then the other thing that we really want to be forward with is we show you everything like we've spent to date. So at the time that we updated this, we'd spent like 105,000 on getting the game to its current state. I think by the time we go into early access, it'll probably be closer to like, I don't know, 140, 150 if I had to guess. But then what we want to do is when we go live, go into early access, since it's an early access and we know that you guys are going to be giving us money for a game that's incomplete, we want to publish, kind of like if we're a public company, we want to continue to publish a breakdown of what money came in and where we're allocating the money. So you can see we spent this much on bringing some of our guys on full time because this is a volunteer-based project. So finally bringing the guys on full time, paying some people part time, and then for us to be able to hit the scale that we need to hit to be able to deliver on 1.0 in a timely manner, we've had a relationship with a outsourcing company, really good guys, since like year one. We just haven't had the cash to like be able to just throw down in front of them. And so we've maintained that relationship, and we're going to be looking at them, and you know, we'll always be considering maybe some other options based on performance and cost, but we'll be working with those guys to scale and be able to create the assets in our style and just move faster, right? So like we'll show you everything that we're doing. We'll continue to stream. Like I said before, you know, I don't know, 5 or 6 of us stream, you know, at least once, twice a week. So you can kind of come in, ask us questions. We put out bi-monthly updates. They used to be monthly, but they're really big. So like you know, this was from our last play test, and so this was 2 months ago. I'm working with the team to get this one up now, but we're pulling this data from the play test for this one. So play test data, but then like if you go through all of our old updates, you'll see lots of concept art. We have a ton of art and concept art and updates. Shows you what we're working on. If you're more into the design side of things, it'll hit like a full list of, you know, like designs, everything that we've kind of modified during playtesting and stuff. And you'll see, go down to like classes, even scrolling. You'll see like cleric spell changes, blah, 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 you know? So, we do these every couple of months, just because there's so much in them. Oh, we have mounts in now. I don't know, you know, like folks that haven't seen the game in a while, we have a mount system in, and the mount system works in a way where it's got 3 different riggings, and so you can hook up like a saddlebag type, like a rideable sort of mount rig, and so it'll be saddlebags and a saddle, or you can hook up kind of a pack animal rig, so it just has more bag slots, so you can carry a lot more, but you can't ride it. And then the third rig is for carts and things like that. So we've got that in, that's working. In this coming update, you'll get to see a really awesome donkey. That will be one of the pack animals. Yeah, so definitely check out the updates if you're absolutely new to the game. Here's him before he had textures and stuff. I love him. And so keep in mind that like the media, I've tried to get some newer screenshots in here. I've realized we hadn't updated in a while. So those of you that have never seen the game before, like we really kind of focus on very old school, low poly aesthetic because it's got nice silhouettes and shapes in the shadows. And then we just are going for like higher res textures. We've got weather. lightning. You know, we understand that this lighting does not look the same on everybody's monitors. So if you play in a playtest and you're like, well, we're hoping by the next playtest we'll have the gamma slider in for you, so you can set it to what we think is the appropriate, like the appropriate darkness level. But we just know that like some people's monitors it looks beautiful at night, some people's monitors it's so pitch black they can't even see their character. So we have to compromise. Yeah, we've been working on getting new textures in Night Harbor and trying to, you know, get it up to snuff. We have, yeah, little things like fog some mornings and stuff. So it's, you know, it's essentially going for very retro aesthetic. Oh, the deep is a concept. Our first big update after we go into early access will be, you know, essentially like delve into the deep or whatever themed. It'll be a module. So it'll be 6 zones, I believe. We're already working on those zones so that we can get it rolling so that we go live, we kind of like brace ourselves, and then we've already got the first expansion, the first module kind of ready to go so that within the first like 3 months we can bring up even more stuff for you. That's where you'll get the Deep Elf player race. Rumor has it you may be able to play a Deep Gnome by then as well. The Deep Elf City and Deep Zones. This is one of the Deep Zones. Yeah, we've been working on a new biome for the Wood Elves. The plan is just basically over time, you know, during early access, we'll just keep adding more races, more racial cities, make the world bigger and bigger. Hey, Pattis. Yeah, so let's say once we hit once we had the first module, so within the first few months of being in early access, we'll probably be at about 20% of the planned world size. So it's a big game. You know, that's why mounts and wagons and stuff like that will be helpful. We do have some weird limitations that some people are a little touchy about. Goonie Saint, did I already say thank you for the follow? Hedja Deep Gnomes. Have you seen the Deep Gnomes, the concept art? They're super cute. Let me see if I can find the racial concepts for you guys. I'm scrolling over here now and I'll bring it up. Yeah, so you've never heard any negative feedback about things like our vendors and stuff like that. It's we go a little bit, you know, it's kind of like if you took the fun of like classic old school early 2000s era MMOs where it's campy and a bit grindy. And by campy I don't mean like you know, I don't mean like the Roger Waters movie or whatever, like more like campy as in there are camps, which I was just placing in game right now actually. And so it's just like it's more of a more tactical pace where it's we call it a combat sandwichy, like you could eat a sandwich and play the game until something goes wrong and then it's like oh shit, and you kind of gotta like scramble and drop your sandwich and like brace yourselves and go. So here, let me... why am I like spacing out on how to open in browser? There we go. Yeah, so we're working on Deep Elves right now. We've got Wood Elves. They look a little different than this now. They look a bit more human. All right, Tangent. Hey, thanks for sticking around as long as you have. And thank you again for the raid. It's really nice to meet your people. And I'm excited for you to get in and check things out. I know the whole team will be excited, and who knows, maybe you'll have minor illusion. The playtest this weekend was very successful. The small issues we had we had a streamer pop in, and so there were some people that weren't ready. And they're kind of like, what, WTF is this kind of old school game? So that happens, but overall, like, once those folks kind of shake back out, we had over 1,200 concurrent users. So that was nice. And yeah, it was a good time. The bugs, like the issues that we had with like Rel's Night Harbor kind of like petering out sometimes, we know what it is now, and it's a really funny issue. So Ollie's on top of it. But yeah, so Wood Elves are in, Humans are in, Deep Elves are being worked on, Ogres are in, Dwarves are in, Halflings are in, Gnomes are in, Deep Gnomes are about to be worked on, Goblins are in, and so that leaves Trolls, Deep Dwarves, High Elves. Yeah, so we're trucking along, and then just getting their cities in and stuff. So yeah, so those of you, what's that thing on the far right? We don't discuss that thing on the far right, and Lizardmen are a rumor unless you ask Zukin, and then you never know when they'll go in. Yeah, so those of you that are absolutely new to it, please check out the website. Please join our Discord. Please check out the various VODs that we've posted. There's like 700 or something. And if you're into like classic MMOs and, just our goal is to take that old feel that we love so much and just take the systems deeper and do a lot more with that foundation than we think has been done with it over the last like 20 years. And hey, Nick. You love the mud options so far? Yeah, it's going to be fun getting more and more of those in, and they're so easy to implement that it's really just a matter of like allocating the time and coming up with the ideas. But it's a very simple system that does so much. And so we've got some of our folks like every once in a while peeling off, and like Eric's always adding a few more in and things like that. So, excuse me. Look forward to the troll. So am I, actually. Just keep nighttime dark. I like it a lot. Real nighttime is cool. So again, I don't think our night's ever going to be light, but our goal for night is not for it to be, you can't see 2 inches in front of your face. We've got too pretty of a skybox. The moons are supposed to be illuminating stuff. When you looked at what I just had up, right? Like, you could see, that they're definitely, we want you to be able to see a bit, right? Like, we want it to be atmospheric. We don't want it to just be black, right? So that's why we're going to try the gamma slider. And we'll see, like, let people really get it, tweak it to where we think is the right level. And then, if you want to cheat a little, but we're just focused on atmosphere. We want this to be a place that you love going to when you've got, when you're off work, when you've got some time, you come back, the people on your server. We just want to be your third place, and within that, there's the moment-to-moment gameplay that feels good. There's the progression. There are all the other things, but that's why we've spent so much time on like, systems, like really trying to encourage people to be merchants. The fact that you, hey, Dimbly said you're my first place. Daw. But when you run around like Night Harbor, you'll see there's signs up because you can rent most of these properties. You can rent a little booth in the market. Right. We'll get the consignment containers online before early access, so you'll be able to really kind of do that active auction. Instead of having an auction house, you can give people your items in a safe way for them to sell them for you, and then they keep a percentage. They can sell them for more than you agreed upon and keep that overage. Stuff like that. They can load them onto their pack animal and take them out to another zone and sell shit that maybe people need that isn't available that far from town. So will we be able to name our shop stalls, etc.? Yeah. Ollie actually set up a stall over the weekend. Let me see. I think he has a picture of it in our little DMs. Let me scroll up. Was that in DMs or was that where? If somebody on the team knows where Ollie's picture was. Oh, there it is. So he set up, he named it. It's a little programmer arty right now, but like, so he rented this stall and he's got his little box with stuff in it, but his main thing was just like, if you wanted a speed buff boost, you could wave at him and he would buff you. So that was his thing. And if there are still people in here that haven't seen the game yet, let me find another thing for you that's actually, it was really cool. One of our community members did a really great video. Not the Cindy video, though that was cute. I think maybe I posted it in Inspiration. Let me find it. Here. So a quick time lapse. Oops. I clicked the wrong thing. Let's go back. I was trying to clear some stuff up on my side, so maybe I could improve the volume for you. So Class and Cool made this video. Just kind of sat there and did a time lapse of everybody running through Night Harbor during the playtest. Here's a link to it. Yeah, this is a completely volunteer project, but we've gone from like, it was 4 of us in the first year, to we've maintained about a 30 to 33 person team for the last couple of years, and the guys have just been fantastic. Hamer once asked, any thoughts on when we'll see racial abilities and stats in game? Seems like a lot of adjustments on stat utilization that would address a lot of player concerns. The guys were talking about them. I don't know an exact ETA, but I know that they've been talking about it. Pixie Moon, I'm glad you had a good time. Yeah, the game is a bit tough. Anybody that plays at the end of the month, we definitely have a pretty rough. Oh, is it that loud? Sorry. That is real loud. Shit. Thanks, Liz. Yeah, I turned the music up because I was like, oh yeah, there's cool music in the background. Then I proceeded to keep talking. That's my bad. I'm a game developer, not a streamer. So the thing that we'd be looking at before EA is like trying to improve the first time user experience a bit. But we realize it's always going to be a kind of a tough game to get into, but that's why a lot of people ask questions of other people in the community and all of that. We do have a, I'm trying to remember what I called it. Was it guide? No. Yeah. Cool. Do you guys have an internal idea of where you want to be with the game by the end of the year? Yeah. Yep. We have a big schedule that we look at. As long as people didn't phrase their question, I hate this game, I can't find the dude. I then saw everyone help that asked. I think I've even seen people that phrased the question or made a statement like that still get helped. AM Kevin said, how'd the recent tests go? Really well. Would you consider adding some branding to the game, classic MMO and fantasy life simulator, to present the darkness and vendor systems as a benefit? I don't know that it's going to help. I think it's just a thing that we have to keep kind of explaining to people and nudging them along, and you know, I think they'll figure it out pretty quickly, or they won't, you know. And if they don't, they may come back. If it'll be interesting if everybody doesn't quit. Then I think some people may give us a second try. If like people are still going to the nightclub, then you give it a second try, right? So. Rar Loco said, I was sold on this game on the most recent stress test. Loved it. Was that this last weekend or the stress test before that? One thing I saw over the weekend that made me smile was one guy spent about an hour bad mouthing. 24 hours later, he is still playing. That's awesome, Liz. Oh, nice. Okay, it was last weekend. Yeah, that playtest was. I think it it showed things pretty well for us. Oops. The guys did a fantastic job. Oh, I think I might know who that person is as well. Dargit says, I've yet to be sold on this game, waiting to cash out. I know. Once you guys get the award for best MMO of 2026, I think a lot of people try. You know what? We don't need an award. We just need you guys to come in, have a good time. That'll be our award. You guys being happy is award enough for us. Also, give us $15 a month. Was he the guy that was saying in OSC wasn't going to pay $15 for a sub for a $19.99 looking game? It might have been. You know he's going to pay. Pixie Moon said, I already told my wife so she can put it in the budget for next year. Perfect. We absolutely want to be your line item. Valcron said, I talked shit about this game earlier this year. I admit. Hey, it's okay. Now look at you. Now I've turned off the music completely in the background, huh? You guys don't hear anything, just me breathing. If you guys that are new aren't aware, we have our full soundtrack up. I'm pretty humble about a lot of things, but one thing I'll absolutely brag on is our soundtrack. Robert is a wonderful, wonderful musician and just all around great guy and giant nerd who also just happens to be an actual rock star. Is he? He was playing at a festival this weekend. That's why he wasn't in the playtest. He was actually at some rock festival playing. I think is music. Yeah, there you go. So there's a playtest for the music. Again, Nick just fired off the Discord. Will you guys put out a trailer before early access? Yeah, fairly certain we will. Blink is our video editor. He's the one that's been like throwing up the shorts and stuff like that. God bless his heart. He's actually got to watch VODs. I can't do it. I don't want to hear myself. But he goes through the VODs and we'll make little shorts and stuff, and that's pretty awesome. I have never been a big fan of hearing myself talk, which is a shock. Anybody that knows me is like, I don't believe that. No, just because I do it a lot doesn't mean I want to hear it. I'm sure that's not true, Valkron. Yeah, the stuff that you guys clip, I don't know. I feel like some of the clips you guys have clipped are pretty inappropriate. I'm fairly certain I didn't say any of those things. I think that's a sign we're not narcissists. I don't know. I don't know that that's true. I don't want to hear myself talk, but I am probably a narcissist. So I don't know that they're mutually exclusive. Mandrake clips are a favorite to listen to. Usually discuss game dev experience, but hey, if you like just game dev discussions, I have a bunch of old EverQuest interviews that I did like the first year that we were working on this game. Definitely check those out. Some great people that worked on EQ. Good opportunity for them to get a little love. There's some unsung heroes for sure on the EQ team. You have a nice voice. It's relaxing. Hey, thank you. I've heard that from people since I started streaming. I appreciate it a ton because I would have never thought that to be the case. So I'm glad some people are relaxed. It's all it's all fake. I was gonna make a pirate software joke. I probably shouldn't. I don't know. I'm not sophisticated enough to fake my voice. I think this is just my voice. I don't know. My voice is very deep, quite normally. I have a buddy of mine. He's a German guy I worked with. His name's Eric. I don't know if he's out there. He's this ginormous German dude. I'm 6'2", and he like dwarfs me. He's like 6'5" or something. He has got the most like Disney hero voice ever. So he's German. He's got a German accent, but he's got like a very British English kind of sounding voice. And he's like, I once asked him why Germans like bubbly water, and he said, because us Germans like the sparkling things in life. It's just like, I almost shit. I was just like, really? Sparkling. I can't do his accent very good, but he's just got a handsome voice. Your friend is 6'7", 320 pounds? Dang, that's a big boy. Dr. Totenkopf said, I am German and I hate sparkling water. What part of Germany are you in? Not to dox you. I live in Bremen. Hamburg, Bremen, right on. I've lived in Hamburg for 2 years when I first got here, and I live in Bremen now with my beautiful German wife. 2 years in Germany has turned me from hating fizzy water to preferring it. Really? I can't get into it. I can't do it really. It's very rare that I like the fizzy. I like fizzy everything else. Am I the only person on a team that's worked on EQ? I think so. I think I am. We've got other industry people on the team. That said, I probably, when it comes to like EQ knowledge, I'm probably in the lower percentile relative to most of the team. Like the team is, they are some hardcore, well-versed EQ folks. And then some of the teams got many years experience working on like EQ emulators and stuff like that. So that, I think that counts and carries over. But we have we've got a nice mix of experience, a lot of classic WoW experience, a lot of WoW experience, a lot of EQ experience, Star Wars Galaxies and UO, and we just kind of we've pulled ideas from a number of places. Me living in Bremen explains a lot. You were wondering, what do you mean by that? Lost Mind Stool. Do I need to wait for the next playtest to create a character? Nope. You can create an account. You can install and you can make a character. You can even run around in a little client-side area with your tune. If you make a character and explore. Oh, is that a lie? Is it broken? Ollie, did I just lie? Oh, with regards to my streaming schedule. That makes sense. Oh, it's broken. Ollie broke it. Okay. A lot of D&D experience as well, tabletop guys. You can't even spin the meat. That's unacceptable. I take back every nice thing I've said about this game in the last hour. Get Tangent back in here. I need to apologize. I am a terrible liar. These are goblin tents, yes. Some additional goblin camps up here along this ridge. Give folks a few more camps in this level range. Valkron said my mother's side of the family is German. They came to the US in the 1800s. From the family tree, from what it looks like. Yeah. US, Argentina, Brazil, Chile. The Germans get around. This isn't glass flats, yes. It's kind of weird out here. We'll actually put it by the camp. You streamed M&M on Monday. Nice. One of our Uber drivers when we were in Austin a few years ago, he heard Jasmine's accent and he was like, "Oh, are you from Germany?" And we were like, "Yeah," and started talking. He was like, "Yeah, I'm from I think he's from Argentina." He's like, "I'm from Argentina." His name was like Manuel Schmidt. He's like, "My family is originally from Germany." Sorry if you've been asked this before. What's the intent for races when it comes to faction? Will goblins be KOS in some other cities, for example, based on racial pick? Or is it more deity focused, class focused? So it's going to be primarily race and deity that's going to impact that, because some of the classes, like you can be a good or neutral Shadow Knight. You can be a evil paladin, for example. So so it's really going to be primarily driven by race and by deity, but they'll definitely, as we have more places for you to start, we'll be tweaking things and it'll become more and more noticeable that you can't go here or there, that type of stuff. So yeah. That's a good question. You never have to apologize for asking a question. Unless it's a mean question. Like if it's a question that's actually just meant to kind of bust our balls. But even then you can ask it, but just don't cry foul when I'm a smart ass back. The density for level 1 through 5 mobs felt low. What are your thoughts on it after a weekend playtest? There's a good reason for that. One, it could just be that the respawn rate needs to be tweaked some more or whatever. We did have 500 people in the zone. But here, let me show you an example of one of the problems we were running into. So like basically, the way that things are set up at the moment, we have some issues in those zones where like if you see below ground here, we'll sometimes have nav mesh it'll be on this whole like object or this prefab. And so there'll be a navigation mesh that covers this whole thing, and there'll be a navigation mesh that's here on this terrain. And what'll happen is we'll have a volume that extends below it, and it allows for them to basically path. They can spawn anywhere in the volume, and then they can path like in that volume here. I'll enable some zone spawners so you can see what I'm talking about. Excuse me. Yeah, so that's why skeletons were getting stuck in the room walls. And you like, if you see here, we've got this volume that I just kind of threw in very quickly, right? And so what this is saying is essentially, in this volume here, oops, I didn't mean to double click it, but now you can really read it. Give it a second. Unity loves when I click too fast. Come on, buddy. There you go. That's a buddy. All right, so like if you look here, this volume is spawning Flats Goblins. It's this encounter table that rolls to see, is it going to be a fighter? Is it going to be a shaman? Is it going to be level 20? Is it going to be level 22? So that's the data that's right here hooked up to this volume. And it's going to spawn 8 of them within this volume. And when they spawn, they're going to wander in the volume. Oh, it's my dog's favorite ball. He just got a new ball and he's like, he's so protective of it. And he's so in love with it. Like, it's the first toy he's ever had where he'll like nudge your hand out of the way. If you squeak the ball, he'll like track you down and gets really upset. So if you hear a weird noise in the background, it's probably the dog's ball. So anyways, they'll Wanda. Been in Germany too long. They'll Wanda in the volume. They have a 60% chance to stop for 10 seconds plus or minus 5 seconds. So that's kind of what's going on in here, right? Now, what can happen is, because we've got to work on it, they may spawn back here, or they may pick a point back there, depending on whether or not, you know, or they may like get below the ground in like this other layer that you're not seeing. So there's some stuff that basically we've got to go in and put some blockers in and do a little bit of manual cleanup to make it not happen. And so that's what was going on with a lot of your newbie mobs, unfortunately. It's just a cleanup thing. I mean, you know, we can always try to be more careful, I guess, but you know, some of these things, like, do we really want to do like 3 volumes or whatever? Like, it's easier just to have it clip through, especially if you're kind of being fast and furious with it. The main thing is for us to go in and clean up the areas where the nav mesh, like put blockers on the nav mesh and stuff. We'll see if that works. If not, then we'll just make Ollie rewrite the entire pathing system again. If you could define spawn areas by painting surfaces instead of needing to make 3D geometry. As a non-programmer, I have no idea if that type of system would be would work, or right, because I guess what we would do, Ollie is crying. I think we would wind up, we'd still have to, because of how we use these, we'd still want to basically paint an individual thing, right? Because this box, this volume is volume 241. And so we want to be able to maintain that. Liz says, with normal Unity nav mesh, assuming you use that, there's a check if you're on the nav mesh or not. And you can do like a move to nearest nav mesh position. I think the problem is that it's because there's multiple nav meshes, and we can't just like turn off the nav mesh on some of the things that are causing the problems, because we need them to have a nav mesh as well. On some of the stuff, we may find that we just need to, like, I don't know, flag it as not having a nav mesh. But I think then we run into problems with, if there's no nav mesh, then you can still get on top of it, then as an exploit. I don't know. I might be talking out of my ass on this one. But generally speaking, hand wavy, producery talk, I would say there are some nav mesh issues. We have our best guys on it. We'll get it figured out. Can you have it push out of objects? The thing is, I don't think they know that they're objects, right? It just knows that it's two things with nav mesh. Was a dragon spawned or something and killed? Somebody triggered a very large drake. Yeah, top man, sorry. I'm a little rusty on my Lebowski. Yeah, somebody spawns. What's the largest elevation change in a single zone? That's a good question. We have a really cool fake elevation change. I mean, it's an elevation change, but we also, when you go up the hill, when you go up the little mountain, it like gets very misty and stuff in Scarwood. So if you watch some of the videos, just kind of scroll through on our most recent videos for Scarwood, you'll see that in action. Are the mobs going to be built towards solo or group content? Yes. Duoing is kind of the sweet spot. But that's something that we're looking at right now. The kind of the rate of XP gain and then the grouping construct that you're in, like, is something we've still got to work on a little bit to, ensure that we're not like creating a situation where it's just optimal, 100% optimal to, like, for example, just being a duo or. Question: would it be possible to allow for character names with apostrophes or hyphens? I don't know about hyphens. Hyphens, I think Nick would lose his mind and probably kill all of us. Apostrophes, maybe. Been a big old thread about group sizes and TTKs on Discord. Been interesting to see people's perspective. I bet everybody has... is everybody in complete agreement? Complete agreement and 0 conflicts. Nice. Ollie said, Robot, would you allow me to make some gnomes with SQL injections in their name? You can do whatever you want, Ollie. Your big brain, you would do stuff and I wouldn't even know that you did it. I don't understand half of what you do. Inkeller said, had an amazing time in the playtest. Bringing 4 buds with me for the next test. Made it to level 8 as a Dwarf Ranger. Dwarf Ranger? Do we have Dwarf Rangers? The world you built is amazing. Would sub now for sure. Well, thank you, and I'm glad you're bringing friends. I am confused about the dwarf thing. I honestly forget. Let's see. They're like, this guy knows nothing about our game. Hey, now ask me a question about EverQuest. I know even less there. Dwarf Ranger! That's fantastic. What a brilliant choice we made there. Dude, I honestly had to check. I don't know. I might even play a Dwarf Ranger. Nah, I'll definitely be playing a gnome. Somebody said something earlier that I liked, so I want to repeat it. Your girlfriend was scanning your stream to see if she could poke holes in your servers, Corvus said to Ollie. You hang out with a rough crowd. Rookshep said, hearing, doing, having a design imperative so exciting. Had a really good time doing with my partner in this playtest. It felt very natural to start a camp together and have passerbys join in and leave fluidly. The use of group mobs, yeah, like even as we're laying something out right now, right? Like, just always having a few patrols around the edges, a couple statics somewhere, a smaller camp versus a larger camp. You can do so much with the different granularity of like content. And some of it can just be a timing thing, right? So you'll see in some of our camps where it's really, let me load up. It's really, the thought is just like to provide a lot of options in there and then see how you guys figure out how to solve the puzzle. Does race even matter in M&M beyond visuals? It will. It will. We've still got to get like racial traits in. I think I'm fairly certain we're doing like racial stat differentiation and stuff. So it will more as we go. One camp where they don't aggro 3 at a time, and another camp the aggro is 1 or 2. Yeah. So we have the ability to, right? So when we come in here, you can see, right? Like, so these 2 guys up here, you're going to get a 2 pull. You've got a guy that pats around. He's going to come back. So, you know, and then another area we may have, oh, these guys are all floating now. Wonder if Geo changed at some point. I'm glad I looked at this. Ooh, that's interesting. Geo did change at some point. I got a little bug to fix. So bring him up a bit. Save. Bring these guys down. Don't worry, it's just a graphical bug. The go-tos will be fine. Put this guy here. Save. Yeah, so like, this one may, you know, force you to deal with 2 people. They may or may not have C and Viz. You know, another one may be a lot easier because it may only be like 1 guy or 1 guy and 1 kind of pather, right? So it's just trying to give you a variety of different like content puzzles to try to figure out, and then you'll know over time like, hey, it's easier to go over to this camp for us if it's just the two of us. Once we add a couple more people, we'll move over to a bigger camp, that kind of stuff. Placate, which was a superpower for doing into camps that maybe weren't supposed to, felt really good. A bit of danger, and it felt like you're cheating a little bit, right? Which is nice. Are there eventually plans to fill the empty buildings in Night Harbor with props? Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of prop work on our plate. But keep in mind that a significant number of buildings in Night Harbor are going to be player-owned housing and shops. Moon phase and season affecting Skybox would be lit. It's already affecting lighting and data. Floyd the Real says, in EQOA, the devs made aggro range of animals further and love it. Made it more dangerous to roam. Fight and invis. Shorelines are even more dangerous. Go get food, come back. So I think one thing that we tend to do is keep the aggro radii similar, just so that you've got kind of an innate feel where things are. Now, if we were to do something like all of a certain type of animal or all animals, then maybe you could develop that same intuition. But there's something to like being able to just get a feel for the fact that, okay, whenever I'm this far away, I intuitively know that I'm, you know, getting close to aggro range and stuff like that. So. What's up, Lich? How you doing, buddy? Alright, cool. These guys are good. Turn that back off. Doing good, man. Doing good. I had a very sleepy day today. Man, I was sleepy. I don't know. Maybe the weekend's catching up with me or something. When you make a camp like this, do you actively consider where players are likely to camp as a safe spot for pools, or you just let them shake out organically? A lot of times, once you start populating, in propping, you're already thinking, or at least I'm thinking of like population, already starting to picture like roamers, you know, like different patrols. And then as that's coming together, I'll be thinking a little bit of a like separation. Does it you know, does this feel like one camp, or can it start to feel like two, right? Like as we start to put in a couple more, so that there's a sense of, all right, so how many NPCs are we gonna have here? What's the kind of like average group going to be pulling? And then, you know, that allows them, if nobody's over here, to flex and maybe grab an additional camp. And then, yeah, there's often times like, even when you're like up here, and sometimes don't get it right. Like ran around up here with one of our friends and family testers, and he was pointing out like, hey, there's no safe spots. But then again, I ran up and was like, yeah, well, but kind of what about over here, over there, right? So made a couple little adjustments. So try to keep that in mind. different camps are different levels of complexity. This one shouldn't be very hard. Just because we're not going to pack this entire place with like 40 tents. So it'll wind up being like a handful of little sub camps around here with some pathers and stuff like that. And then, you know, it's like I said, I don't think it's going to be difficult to find a safe spot here, if that makes sense. Those of you that have never seen, those of you that have like just not seen the game in action, it's hard to convey until you're like in real time. Screenshots don't do a great job. Me sitting in here, you're not getting like real time lighting or any of that stuff. So I'm just kind of like propping. I mean, I guess in theory I could you know, hop in and do a little fashion show and stuff for people that haven't seen it, but we've got a playtest coming up at the end of the month and a lot to do, and we've got VOD, so I think you guys can check it out. Yeah, and, you know, I may find that as I throw the little goblins in here, they're so tiny that I may wind up bringing some of these tents and stuff back together a little bit closer in a sec. Just because it's like, this is probably going to be pretty spread out for them. So we'll see. What are the benchmarks the team want to hit before the next playtest? I think there's some stability stuff that we want to fix up, that some of it we are aware of going into it. So we were, it sounded like, and Ollie, let me know if I'm wrong, we are aware of a couple potential stability things going into this playtest. We found an issue that was kind of silly. That was actually the culprit leading to Night Harbor on Rel being a problem every once in a while. So getting that stuff fixed. Will Nick be doing much in the way of class updates before the July test? That's a good question for Nick. If he doesn't answer in here, ask him in Discord. I know he's constantly doing updates, so definitely keep an eye out on patch notes. Addiction, thank you for the follow. So fix a few stability things. Would like to get the gamma slider in, the brightness slider in before the next play test. There is some like additional like UI functionality that'll probably be in by then. I don't know if there'll be any new crazy additions to systems before then. We'll continue to tweak content. We're doing good on the scale benchmark. Having like over 500 people in Night Harbor is solid. Overall stability was good. We had a bug. What was the bug that was found with the dragon that Rel and Poor summoned? Died too fast to find out. Oh, I don't know. I didn't hear about that. I mean, I saw that he got summoned. I didn't know that there was a bug there. Was there like a bug with like his AoE or something? Yeah. So the bug in Night Harbor in general that was causing stuff to like the zone to eventually crash was essentially something Ollie was explaining it earlier, like the NPCs, like, was it like stat stack? Kind of like, I think it was stat stack instead of like buff stack. Anyways, it just wasn't cleaning up after NPCs were dying, and so basically we're just building up like this residual NPC data, and as you're killing more and more of the newbie mobs, this data was just like building up in the background and eventually caused a problem. I think that's my layman explanation. But yeah. Morning Coffee said, I was very pleasantly surprised with the game over the weekend. Being able to solo even as a rogue felt good as someone who doesn't want to feel forced into always grouping. Nice. Now that I've said it, now I'm kind of worried about, you know what? I've got the feeling that we're going to find that these little camps are a bit too spread out. There's been so many good questions in here today that I really, again, it's another one of those streams where I kind of poke at something and do like, this is literally 10 minutes worth of work that I've done over the last like 2 hours. So, but hey, it's 10 minutes worth of work that I did. So it's better than no minutes. What kind of numbers do you think a server would support once you hit 1.0? So our problem is not our servers. Our problem in the past has been our zone. Like how many people can we stuff into a zone? Unless I'm mistaken, essentially, like if we can hold 500 people in a zone, you know, then we can put 500 people in each zone. So we're really more content bound than we are server bound. How about a camp, having a camp with a vendor or two outside of the town zones, like a trader that accepts a broad range of stuff to sell? We've already got one in Fallen Pass. It's another like shifty trader. But one of the things that you can do then is, you know, the stuff that you're selling is worth more, so it feels not as bad because you're going to get some cash from it. The thing then is, then I can take my pack mule up there to him and I can load up on bronze items or whatever that you're throwing on there. And then I can take them back to town and I can sell them to trade skillers that are looking to deconstruct them into their base materials. I can sell them for full price to, you know, to the actual appropriate merchants and stuff like that. And then some of the zones will also just have, like in Shallow Shoals right now, there's an island that's got player housing on it. So basically, if players want to run shops there, will there be literal mules that we can put packs on, right? Yeah. Have you not seen them here? Let me find them again. I'll show you a sneak peek. This is the model with textures. It's just not colored. And he's got a full setup on him. He's carrying a bunch of stuff. So this guy is this guy's in game. We've got horses, we've got mules. With horses, I think with mules as well. I've got to confirm. But like depending on what you know, basically what you put on them. Do you put a saddle on them or do you put like a pack rig on them to have more like container sizes, stuff like that? Will they have stats? Yep, they have stats. There's a... Here, let me see if I can find... I've got to find Chip's video that he posted. I don't remember where that was though. Was that in What's New? Yeah, here, I'll show you. So barding, feet, and rigging. So the barding is then the armor and stuff that he has on. These are like placeholder icons. Then the rigging that he put on was a riding rig. So it gives you saddlebags and bags. So he took the rigging off, your inventory slots disappear. Then he put on a like a pack rig, and you see all these packs that you can add. Will you have attack horses or other mounts that attack? Like them in combat is something we haven't really worked through, but they can be attacked and killed. So keep that in mind. They can be attacked and killed. Probably not going to be super, super... You like the sandals? Super draggable, but you'll be able to get them rezzed. So saddlebag. And then he takes the GM saddlebag off. He puts on the pack rigging, and boom, all these slots. They will not take up a pet slot. They're separate. Blue Knight said, I've been watching your streams for a while. Last week was my first playtest. You guys did well. My only complaint would be not being able to get back to town as a non-caster. But a caster can help you get back to town. And you never know what sort of like clicky or other item you may get over time. Ready to read the forums about people saying how bad of an idea mounts dying are? Dude, it's always going to be some. There'll be people violently pro and violently against. Druids should be able to res horses. I think that's been a discussion so far. Mount porting has come up. Not sure how we're going to handle that, if we're going to handle that. You can put your mounts on a boat and have them transported. What's up, Brex? Brex said, how is a big fat troll going to look on a handsome horse? Will it be distracting, asking for a friend, a hungry troll who enjoys a good whole gnome sandwich? You'll probably have a bigger horse. What would the community need to do in order for there to be a saddleback pack that enables small races to ride bigger races? Christo Disco, one of the first things we said back in the day, and we even have a concept image that shows it, is that that mounts should, or that gnomes should be able to ride ogres. It started as a meme, and then it just became a we must-have feature. Now, the rest of you small races, I don't know, because I don't really care about anybody other than gnomes. But here, look, it's even in this illustration. Race-specific amounts an option. We kind of, like, rather than it just be race-specific, we're thinking about, like, scale. So there'd be certain big, like, you know, if you know, instead of, like, shrinking down a Kodo or, like, making a dog really huge, why not have, like, dogs that only a gnome or a deep gnome or somebody small could ride, and then, like, having a Clydesdale that a, you know, that a ogre could ride. Glorky said, it started as a meme, but now it's a must-have. Comment made you laugh. Well, that's our design process. Please, don't laugh at our design process. Pocket heels now being shoulder heels. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that you're going to be allowed to cast from there. Damn, work got exciting. 2 fights in a matter of 2 hours. Love your job. Fights? What kind of job do you have? Are you HR? You work at a dog pound? Oh man, that's got to be tough though. I love dogs so much. Oh, poor dogs. Security supervisor at a casino? Oh, okay. That's got to be fun. What city? So I can just kind of mentally picture how dangerous. I mean, not that you want to dox yourself or whatever. We have a guide system similar to EQ. Probably not. There's some real legal challenges with the guide system. I don't know if you remember, Sony Online ran into some legal challenges with the guides. It would be cooler if we just have a big enough audience that we can ensure that we've got good GMs on every server. I am sorry that I'm just burping in your ear the whole time. But those of you that have been to the stream before are probably familiar with my mouth sounds. Legal issues with guides and EQ, new to you? Yeah, it was a thing. I don't want to say too much because I don't know how much was or wasn't, how it was resolved 100%. I may wind up moving these guys just because it's there's such an incline here that's kind of we'll see. We'll spawn some stuff on it and just see if it feels gross. Breck said, when I'd run beta for EQ, I imagined the devs doing what you're doing now. There's assets like rocks and ice crystals that allow people to go under the world. There's some floating assets that don't touch ground, and it was especially odd in Western Wastes. When they revamped it, there was an asset over a zone line that made fun stuff happen. Yeah, it was not as easy to work on EQ as it is to work in Unity. Proprietary engine and stuff. Did it for a couple years. Used to hang out with a lot of GMs in SD. Didn't hear about legal challenge. Yeah, it was it's something that popped up a little bit later on. And it had to do with the fact that it was like they were volunteers, but there was also like a minimum hours. And honestly, it just, part of it was really, it got contentious. Because one of the problems with the guide program is once you've got like a few hundred or a few thousand people volunteering, they start to like, it's very hard to manage expectations. The next thing you know, you've got people that are complaining about the focus of the company and like, why didn't they prioritize this versus that? And they're making life harder for CS by not fixing this. And so it turns into like a interesting us versus them. This happens in customer service sometimes. It happens with community managers because community managers like, well, but I'm representing the community. It's like, yeah, but you work for us. Well, but you need to do X, you know, blah, blah, blah. And this is why my life's so hard. This is why people are yelling at me on Reddit and Discord. And it's like, okay, but your job is to manage the community, manage that. And it's like, well, but if you would fix this, right? So it's like, that's kind of some of the shit that happens with just like people that you're paying that are on the team. So now imagine it's a bunch of volunteers, and it can get out of hand pretty quickly. And it's hard to hold them accountable as well, right? Like what the most you can do is really kind of like just kick them out of the program. So that's also a thing. Yeah, so I'm not talking shit about the guide program at all. I was a guide before. That's how I got to Sony Online. Like, I was a guide. I worked my ass off to try to like make a good impression on the GMs, so that then I could move to California and become a GM, and then I could become a designer, right? So, like, I have a lot of respect for the opportunity that it created for me, but it is a pain. It can be a pain. Let's say it that way. Customer service can be really fulfilling. I agree. Darius said, lesson, kick that ladder away after you're done climbing. Oh, come on. I would rather us be in a position where we bring good people on board and we pay them good money to be customer service, and then give them opportunities if they want to get into developing it over time or whatever. And find people that are like regular testers and people that are regularly doing good for us in the community, and then give them some opportunities. But it's true. Kicking that ladder out of the way. Don't need you guys creeping up. Has that worked out yet? No, John. There are no good people in our community, John. There are no people in our community that just hang around long enough and then we're like, hey, John, do you want to get on the team and do a bunch of work for us? Yeah, I mean, the bulk of our team came from our community, right? I like its a little flat over here. A little flatter. Give these guys a little flat camp on the rock. Any dynamic events like treasure mapping or highwayman camps popping up, etc.? Yeah. Plans for that? I think we even have maybe an example or two of stuff like that in already. Fairly certain the dragon that ate, dragon air quotes, the giant drake that ate all of you guys in the playtest was triggered by some people that knew how to trigger it. And then stuff like treasure mapping. I think Nick's already done a prototype for that. Caravans. Being attacked by highwaymen and bandits is definitely on our list. We were just talking about that this morning, actually. So, yep. Atmosphere in the game is so good. Can't wait to hear. And music is so good. Can't wait to hear more of it while experiencing the zones. Yeah, it's easy to like. It's my work soundtrack most times. It's either Robert's music or like 80s music, to be honest. Occasionally something heavy. What about thinking about single entrance to Dungeon versus 2, allowing people to call train? So, Wormsbane's only got the one. The dungeon that you guys really haven't seen yet, I don't think. One of the dungeons that you haven't seen yet has 2. It's got a Carnor's left-right setup. Day-night cycle is going to take seasons to account. Maybe not, because winter would make you guys lose your shit, and Discord would have threads with 7,000 comments about wintertime being the most depressive, always dark, I don't want to play the game until the season is over experience ever. So I think we may not do that. I think that may be too much for you guys. I think we might break you. It gives them a taste of Germany winters. I give them a taste of Sweden. I was there for 3 years. Reddit, yeah, with 40,000 upvotes. There'll be people climbing out of the woodwork. I've never seen your game before or heard of it, but let me express my displeasure. People would be buying like literal sun lamps sitting in their apartments. Sneers, congratulations on making it out of work. Never had seasonal depression in a video game, be treading new ground. Velius kind of hit me a little bit. I was telling somebody the other day that I felt that Velius and EQ was a little too cold for my taste. Have you thought about supporter packs or something similar when a game goes into early access? Nothing like that. We want people to subscribe. You'll be able to buy, like, you know, friends and family some like gift subscriptions, and we'll have a merch shop up if you want to buy all the merch. Please do. But just know the way to support us is to bring your friends, be patient with us, buy merch, subscribe. If you're like, hey, I've played the game and I want to come back later or whatever, you know, if you leave your sub running, that's cool. But yeah, we don't want to get into the weirdness of you know, like special perks and titles and all that shit. Like everything you see somebody with in game, we want you to know that when you see them with something in game, they earned it, right? Like, had Dr. Totenkopf said, interesting. It was the same with Northrend and WoW. Never looked at it as kind of seasonal depression. Yeah, like Veli is really just, oh, I loved Kunark. It was like warm and fresh. But man, will there be Sean Nick statues in merch shop? Probably not. But there'll be a lot of cool stuff. We've got so much great concept art and illustrations and all, you know. I think we'll have the merch shop pretty loaded to bear. STLs of all the devs. You never know. Like if one of our modelers gets kind of excited, you never know what may happen. Gonna do an extra campfire here. Appreciate you not trying to profit off FOMO like every other game with early access. Yeah, I mean, our shop, there may be some limited run like shirts or some shit like that, but that seems like fair FOMO. Full-size high elf body pillows, not sure. Gnome-size body pillows, I think we're going to make that happen. As more people buy merch, if we have enough subscribers and we can invest in higher quality body pillows, you may get like, you may get even better quality gnome-sized body pillows. Female ogre body pillows win when we hit the big leagues. That's our stretch goal. Nick said, to be fair, Northrend had decent variety. Kevin said Grizzly Hills is goated. Art style feels like Japanese 90s 90s Japanese game studio did a version of EQ. Things are familiar but slightly Eastern. Interesting. I guess I could see that. I could see that. There's definitely some Eastern influence on in some of our concepts and things like that. I think Goblin would agree. I said gold, didn't I? Kieran, did I said? Oh, are you just being? Okay. Goodness. It has. I've been on my behavior this stream because we had guests. I don't know how many of the guests stuck around, but we had guests, so I watched my language. I didn't make any crude jokes. Arsini78 said, "Hi chat, hi robot. I hope Munich was a blast. It was good. Munich was good. We need to go back when we can actually enjoy it. Basically, Jasmine did her training, and then she came home, and I was just glued to my laptop. I didn't really see much outside the hotel room. Hey, Greville. You know, don't get us wrong. We're definitely pulling very heavily from standard like Western fantasy tropes and stuff, right? Like, we're not getting too crazy out here. Thanks for letting us play this weekend. It was a blast. Hey, thanks for playing this weekend and having a blast. Excuse me. Dr. Totenkulp said, I would describe the art style as like EQ I remember, but that never was. Or like Luckman model should have looked. Never got to like this. Our thought was, we tried to, when we were talking about this early on, we were like trying to put ourselves in the heads of the game developers of the late 90s. And that's why like we reference old fantasy paintings and book covers and album covers and stuff like that, because we're always like, what was the inspiration? And that's why we reference things like the mud actions and stuff, because we're like, what inspired the first MMO designers and artists and stuff? Like, what was their inspiration? What was in their mind's eye when they were making the game? And that's really been like, if you go back and read our old documentation from like year one, like you know, when it was just like Nick and I putting stuff in Confluence and talking to Ollie, and you know, we were like writing this stuff down, and the thought was like, how do we put ourselves in kind of in their shoes and then make the game they thought they were making, maybe, right? So that was you know, kind of part of our early thinking. Feels like EQ, but your unique spin on characters. Just for the record, if anybody is watching this later on, this VOD, please note that while folks in chat may reference EverQuest, and we find that EverQuest is a very good game, and I enjoyed working on it when I was there, we have drawn our inspiration from a variety of MMOs from that era. Not just MMOs, but also CRPGs and RPGs, tabletop games. We have drawn upon many, many sources. We would never market ourselves as an EverQuest-like game, or a game that is strictly based on EverQuest, or even, I would say, more than 49% inspired by something like that. We are a game that is a love letter to all late 90s RPGs and MMOs. Just in case anybody is watching this in the future. Wilgen said, hello, I need more M&M ASAP. Thank you. Hey, it's good to hear. All right, we have a playtest. We have a playtest at the end of the month. It's the end of the month. Get up, get up. Fortunately, fortunately, one of our wonderful environment artists is also a lawyer. If only he had come on the team in the first year. You had that song in your head this morning? Really? Nice. Excuse me. All right, guys. It's 10:39. I told you earlier in the stream that one of the things that we're going to do today, as at the end of the stream, we're going to raid Quatos. Because he was so kind to us, no lifing the playtest all weekend, being complete degenerate, and it's his birthday today. So I think those of you that are new here at the end of the stream, when people come in, we like it when everybody says hi to each other. Make sure it's got like a guild chat vibe. At the end of the stream, we like to do a little like Waltons. If any of you are older than millennials and maybe remember like the Waltons and the goodnight part of that show, we like to say goodnight as well. So we're gonna raid. Exactly. Good night, John Boy. We're gonna raid Quatos in a minute, and we're going to wish him a happy birthday, and then see what he's up to. But before that, I'm gonna say goodnight to you guys. So hang in, don't leave yet. Wait for the raid, but let's say goodnight, because he deserves it for his birthday. So, Wyvern's Lair, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. Drac, already said goodnight, Grandpa. Blue Knight, hi everyone. Okay, yes, now, good night, Marianne. Perfect. Original Mr. Butter, yeah, you're good. You don't good. High and by is perfect. I love what you guys are doing. I love the energy. Kaka, good night. Addiction, good night. Inglehertz, we're going to be raiding. Viro, you're very welcome. Again, thank you everybody for that was able to come out for the playtest. It was nice seeing so many of you, and I'm glad you guys had fun. Oh, good night, Chance Solo, Nell, Zaire, Gorf the Imp. Good night, and good seeing you. You're very welcome, Drac, Talat, Tahak, Talet. Thanks for being here. Have a good night. Later, Eric, Esan, Solves the War, Kevin, you guys are welcome. You're very welcome, Quicksana. Nomer, see you, buddy. Sneers, Matthias, Herr Dr. Totenkopf, guten Abend, gute Nacht. Bis nächstes Mal. Or, yeah, bis bald. Liz Biscuits, see you, my dear only other person that's going to be on the EU server with me. Yeah, I'll be back Thursday. See you, Ursini. Kufu, Dadvik, Queesh, Pixie Moon, Inglehertz, Truce. This said, had fun helping in OOC all 3 days. Only got about 4 hours sleep. Yeah, you're a champ. The queen of OOC. The Kairon, see you. Anaraku, Gunnavolf, Perez Dispenser, See you guys. Glurky, Fuller, Scheiden, Fade Wims, Timo Jazz. Or is it Timote Jazz? Timote's. Arcanus. See you. See you, Kevin. Stunlistic. Big ol' Brex. Dragon. Orcish. Nevar. And the main Stark. Okay, cool. Let's kick off this raid now. Starting the raid now. Please stick around. Wish him a happy birthday once we get in there. Oh wow, there's a bunch of you. Alright, let's do this raid and I will see you guys on Thursday.